let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to do Tornado Chains. This is going to take some practice. If you're just doing this for the first time, this is going to take some practice, even just to like set up the trick. And it's not the easiest thing to do ever. It is consistent. It's just not easy to get the hang of right away. So don't be discouraged at first. There we go, look at that. So, you know bed launches, right? Like, I'm sure you've seen, if you have seen this game, if you've seen any clips of this game from, like, I don't know, people excited about movement tech, which there is a lot of movement tech to be excited about. In my opinion, this is not one of them. Bed launches are kind of garbage, if I'm being honest with you, because they're inconsistent. So, like, you see how that launched me straight back, and that launched me to the left, and this is gonna launch me in a different direction. See, that launches me to the right. It is unreliable, especially if you want to get up to a place, like to a very specific place, like for instance the end of this rift. Like, you don't want to bed launch. You don't want to do anything like bed launching, because relying on your own echoes to do that, even if you bind it, like even if you like bind the bed, reverse bind, and do this, it's still going to be inconsistent, or it's just not going to work, period, like this. And also, you notice too that using the tornado gets rid of the bed because you only have so much tri power. So what you want to do instead here is not use your own echoes, but use what I will refer to as static actors. In other words, these pots, specifically this pot. So the way this works is when you hit this pot with a tornado, the movement is actually seated. It'll move the same exact way every single time because of the fact that it's a static actor. And this is not something you can say about your own echoes. So basically what we do in order to sort of fix the position and fix the direction of this pot, like the direction that we want to fly in with the pot, in order to fix that, the first thing we do is we come up and we hit it with a tornado. But you want to grab it first so it doesn't fly away, because you don't want it to fly away. And also, like, moving to the side a little bit keeps it from going up too high. So now I'm going to call this a primed pot. The pot is now primed to actually do this trick in exactly the way we want to do it. So what you do is you, in order to ensure that your position is consistent, you get into the pot, you face up in the pot and just tap jump without holding a direction. And then you target the pot, and your inputs are going to be target, like, okay, so like say you haven't targeted yet. Normally you have to target twice so that you don't target your own tornado. Like, it'll switch from the tornado to the pot. You target twice to target the pot. Now you bind, hold reverse bind. So it's X and then your R bumper. And now you can use the tornado. Oh, the tornado actually shoved me out of place. That's rude of it. Hang on. So you first off, you do this. You come in here with your tornado equipped. You do that so that barely hits. You can do it from here, or you can do it from here. I prefer here just because it's closer to where you want to go, like up to the right. You get in, target twice, bind, reverse bind, and then you use your tornado. Of course, the timing on that last one is pretty difficult. That's what I've been trying to practice. Like, that's the one that I have the most trouble with, is that one. I failed that 3 times in the run that I just did, and it just killed all momentum that had, that the run had. So yeah, that's what I want to practice. But if I can get it once to just showcase what it looks like to, you know, successfully do it. And I think doing those first 3 a little quicker too is like, is a little more consistent, because you don't rub up against that platform. And when you do rub up against that platform, I think what's happening, and this is only a theory, I think what's happening is the distance between you and the pot that you're binding is skewed slightly. And the result of that is just a little bit of inconsistency. But this part should be totally consistent. You know what I'm wondering? Oh, there's a point there. Hold on, hold on. I think I know exactly what's happening. It's frame rate based. Okay, so new development. I just figured out, or I just put 2 and 2 together. So just based on some previous experiences, we know that this trick is at least partially frame rate based, and it just so happens that the last tornado throw on this chain, the frame rate can change. The frame rate can change from 60 to 30, which this game, you know, does a lot, in order to save, like, words. It saves. Why is energy the word that's coming to mind? Doesn't save energy, saves resources. There we go. So it drops from 60 to 30 to save resources, which does affect this trick. I'm not going to claim to understand exactly why it affects it, but like it definitely does. So a way that you can get around this, and this is extremely, like, this is going to take me some practice to get down to. What you can do is you can go to top-down mode to keep the game from going into 30 FPS. Now, since going in the top-down mode involves pressing down the right stick, this becomes an issue with controller grip. So do with this info what you will, and once again, use at your own risk. Because that makes the trick way more consistent, it seems. Once again, do with that info what you will. Again, this seems pretty consistent just doing it normally, because the frame rate doesn't really ever seem to drop around this part. But it does seem to drop semi-consistently around the part where you're throwing the 4th tornado for the first chain. So, again, do with that what you will and use at your own risk. And then you bring the pot over here to like this little slope here. This only really works, by the way, it only works properly if the pot is below where Zelda is. That's why you want to bring the pot over here to this slope, so that it is actually below Zelda. And when you're up here, of course, you fall down, you get your water block, and then you spawn back up here. Sometimes when you do this, if you're too quick with this particular step, you won't actually set a home tile or a safe tile, and you will teleport all the way back to the beginning of the rift, which you do not want. You don't want that to happen. So you want to spend a little bit of time up here, like, you know, and you can easily do that by just like the pot's gonna wind up like here or something, or rather you'll land here. You'll still have the pot bound to you. If you walk over here, if you bring the pot to like right here, which is fine to do, and then just like, you can either spin off or just walk off like I do. Spinning I find to be not quite as consistent. You can set your home tile right here pretty consistently. Then you bring the pot over here, you get in, you do the same thing with the jump in and the jump out, just like jump out neutrally while facing up left this time. Target the pot and do the same thing, and just make sure that all of your tornado throws are when Zelda is on a whole tile, like not a half tile, like not in between 2 tiles, just doing your best to make sure that Zelda is within a full tile each and every time, and you should make it up here. This is going to take some practice. If you're just doing this for the first time, this is going to take some practice, even just to like set up the trick. And it's not the easiest thing to do ever. It is consistent. It's just not easy to get the hang of right away. So don't be discouraged at first. There we go, look at that. Okay, so that feels good. That's the way to do it. I'll do it one more time. just to demonstrate what it looks like in full. I'll do it once more, even though I just did it, or whatever. Sue me. I'm trying to do those as quickly as possible, but that last one is still inconsistent. I think that last one, I just need to suck it up and try to hit a late window. Yeah, it's just like a little bit later. But for whatever reason, it's not one of the ones that, like, works as long as you're on a full tile. Like, it almost even seems to work better if you're, like, between the two tiles. And I can't tell if that's because that's actually true, or if it's because it just seems that way because of the, like, the, what do you call it? The foreshortening behind you. Like, not the parallax, but, like, the foreshortening of just, like, the way the top-down world works, or looks. Yeah, see? It's like, it looks like I'm here. There. It looks like I'm between these two tiles. Like, on the Y coordinate. Or on the X coordinate, sorry. It looks like I'm between these two tiles right here. But I'm not sure if I actually am. Yeah, this is definitely one of the harder tricks to learn in Glitchless. In fact, it might even be the hardest at this point. Like, I'm not sure there is a harder trick to learn in this category right now. By the way, not a glitch. Not a glitch. It's just taking advantage of the way tornadoes and static actors interact with each other. That's all you're doing. It's not a glitch. It's an exploit, if anything. In fact, it is definitely an exploit. This would fall under that category. But not a glitch. There's nothing glitchy happening here. Nothing. I'm sure this isn't the way the developers intended for you to actually get to the entrance of Jabul Ruins, but you are not taking advantage of any errors in code here. Yeah, it is abuse of mechanics. It is not abuse of code. I do feel like the second half of this trick is a lot easier to get the hang of than the first. If you want to learn this, again, if you don't want to learn this, that's perfectly fine. This really, in the grand scheme of things, only saves, like, a little bit of time in Glitchless. Like, it saves, like, maximum 30 seconds. Because it does involve you getting Tornado before coming here. So you need to do, like, the first half of Gerudo errands first. Which does involve some slower fights with the dark blobs. And also a slower Tornado acquisition itself. Because you don't have water block yet. So it probably doesn't even save 30 seconds. So if you want to save 30 seconds at the risk of, you know, doing this and failing it, then that is an option that you have. It's one of the many options for, like, strats in Glitchless. This is one of the major ones. But yeah, if you try this in your runs, if you are up for running Glitchless and you're up for trying this in a run, then the strat is there for sure. It's a fun trick. It is really fun to pull off, but it is very risky, so of course do it at your own risk, but have fun. And best of luck with learning it. But yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Tornado jump scare.